Okay, so before yesterday's Robert Mueller testimony, I outlined for you that Donald Trump went on a tweet storm, melting down completely with 10 tweets in a period of just a few hours, very, very clearly panicked about what was then the upcoming testimony of Robert Mueller. My prediction was at the time, Trump is not going to listen to the substance. And even if he does, he's not really going to understand it because he does have significantly compromised comprehension abilities. Trump is going to go by tone. Mueller was sort of slow. Mueller was sort of forgetful. Mueller appeared sort of confused. So Donald Trump was going to come away thinking that he won just bigly because of yesterday's Robert Mueller testimony. That is exactly the case. Donald Trump does believe that he won, that he came out unscathed by yesterday's Mueller testimony. And we're going to look at some of Donald Trump's reactions. Now, I'm not going to redo the first segment from today's show. I already outlined for you the endless ways in which Robert Mueller's testimony on the facts, not on the tone, confirmed that Donald Trump is absolutely impeachable. At minimum, more than enough evidence to start an impeachment inquiry. But right now, I want to focus on Donald Trump's reaction. Now, before I get into some of the video, it is actually sad and horrifying that our president so severely lacks comprehension skills to understand the substance of what Robert Mueller confirmed yesterday, which is that Trump is impeachable. Trump came out thinking it was a great day for him. Let's look at some clips, starting with Donald Trump's kind of big picture conclusion that Mueller just had nothing to say because Donald Trump did nothing wrong.
I think Robert Mueller did a horrible job, both today and with respect to the investigation. But in all fairness to Robert Mueller, he had nothing to work with. You know, you can be a builder, but if they don't give you the right materials, you're not going to build a very good building. Robert Mueller had no material. He had nothing to work with. So obviously he did very poorly today.
This might be the most disconnected one could be from the content of the hearing. Mueller confirmed obstruction. Mueller confirmed Trump directed his lawyer to lie. Mueller confirmed Trump can be indicted after leaving the White House. Mueller confirmed that investigations are ongoing. Mueller confirmed that as damaging as his report was, the scope was so limited that it didn't even explore multiple areas of wrongdoing by Donald Trump. Mueller confirmed that Trump's actions meet all three legal requirements to be considered obstruction on multiple counts. Mueller confirmed that Trump was untruthful in his written answers to investigators. Now, I could go on, but only someone who does not understand what he saw or is lying could come away with the conclusion that Donald Trump purports to have come away with. Once again, here's another piece from earlier in Donald Trump's little statement where he again summarizes everything as it was just lovely for me.
So we had a very good day today, the Republican Party, our country. There was no defense of what Robert Mueller was trying to defend, in all fairness to Robert Mueller. Whether his performance was a bad one or a good one, I think everybody understands that. I think everybody understands what's going on. There was no defense to this ridiculous hoax, this witch hunt that's been going on for a long time, pretty much from the time I came down on the escalator with our First Lady. And it's a disgrace what happened, but I think today proved a lot to everybody. In fact, some of my biggest opponents wrote things today that I wouldn't have believed they would have written, and I appreciate that they did that.
This might be the height of confusion. Trump claimed since day one that the report exonerated him and thanked Mueller for it and went on nationwide exoneration tour events on the basis of Mueller supposedly exonerating him, which Mueller didn't do. In the hearing, Mueller confirmed, I did not exonerate Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump has shifted completely and is saying, oh yeah, Mueller never had the right to exonerate me. Well, then why did you go on an exoneration tour on the basis of what you believed was an exoneration from Robert Mueller, which it wasn't? Take a look at this.
So there is no such a thing. He didn't have the right to exonerate. And, you know, it's very interesting. People mention exoneration. That was something where he totally folded because he never had the right to exonerate. And it was covered very well by Congressman Turner and put to a conclusion. We were, if you take a look at not only the report, beyond the report, take a look at not what he said, but what he was forced to say.
Why did you use what you falsely believed to be an exoneration from Mueller as evidence of your innocence if your new position is Mueller actually didn't have the right to exonerate me at all? So then attempting to bring Donald Trump back to reality, which is tough to do. Some reporters actually started pressing Trump a little bit on, hold on a second. One example, Mueller said you were untruthful in your written answers, and Trump just buries his head in the sand and says, nah, nah, boo, boo, I wasn't untruthful. You were untruthful to the reporter. And I wish I was kidding when I said that this is effectively what Donald Trump did. But here is Donald Trump telling the reporter that she's the one who's lying. Can you imagine anything more childish?
What about Mueller's aid?
And that your answers are generally untruthful. What do you say to that? He's accusing you.
He didn't say that at all. You're untruthful when you ask.
Said
you are untruthful. When you ask that question. When you ask that question, you're untruthful.
You can say Mueller was too reserved. You can say Mueller was meek. You can say Mueller appeared confused. But Mueller was very direct and clear on the issues. Trump did not tell the truth in the written answers. We already discussed that in the first segment. So first and foremost, this is a president who is completely disconnected from reality, who thinks he came off looking great after Robert Mueller confirmed impeachable wrongdoing by Donald Trump during the hearing. But take a step back for a second. Does anyone realize how dangerous it is to have a president whose comprehension is so compromised that this is what he took away from the Mueller hearings? Let's assume for a second that Trump isn't lying here and he genuinely thinks the Mueller hearings were just great for him, even though Mueller confirmed impeachable behavior by Donald Trump. What is Trump taking away from intelligence briefings if this is how significantly his comprehension is compromised? What is Trump gleaning from meetings with foreign leaders if he can watch what Robert Mueller said yesterday and think that he got away unscathed? His comprehension is completely compromised, and he's the president of the United States. Aside from more immediate decisions Democrats are going to have to make about impeach or not impeach or whatever else, this is a danger, and I want to hear from you about it. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Please follow both accounts there.